Hola, and welcome to Pure Confident Mujer, the podcast designed for jefas and jefitas of the professional world, the first generation professionals. From triumphs to challenges, we're here to share the stories that inspire you to become the jefa of your dreams. Welcome to another episode of Career Confident Mujer. I am so excited. We are now on episode 4, and thank you so much for giving me feedback on how you love these episodes, how they resonate with you. I feel like sharing these stories and helping you navigate these career spaces with confidence is what this podcast is about. And I have been getting a lot of requests about how you are able to build a relationship with your supervisor. And we all know a supervisor either makes or breaks you in this position that you're holding. We want to go into our workplaces feeling fulfilled, happy, like we have value in the workplace. But a lot of times, our supervisors are either the ones that escalate and accelerate our career success, or they are the ones that can hold us back from career opportunities. So it's really important for you to be able to build a communication and build your relationship with your supervisor. Now, as first gen professionals, I understand that what I'm asking you to do is step out of your comfort zone, be able to vocalize your worth, your goals, and that challenges the notion that you think if you work hard, you will be seen. But when we go into that mentality of working hard for showing that we know it, showing our value, we often get stuck in a path where we take on way more than what we are supposed to do, like we are proving our worth. And we are no longer having to prove our worth. We are now showing it, and we are now vocalizing our worth. Vocalizing and speaking up for yourself and communicating your value, communicating where you see yourself in the company speaks much more than you just being a person that can do it all, because that is easily the person that gets taken advantage of in the workplace. And I do not want you getting taken advantage of as a first gen professional, okay? Today, we're going to be talking about how to build a relationship with your supervisor so that they can help you with your career success. I have 4 tips for you to be able to build a relationship and to be able to see your career grow with establishing these small, easy tips, routines, habits for you to be able to accelerate in your career. The first tip is you need to schedule regular one-on-one check-ins with your supervisor. Now, you might be thinking, well, I have regular meetings with them to talk about my work, or we have group check-ins. That's great. But most of those are most likely focused on tasks, new ideas, new projects, project development, just more directives. And it doesn't allow you to have a conversation where you can be more vulnerable and check in with your supervisor. So, what I'm asking you to do is build in personal check in times, meetings that are outside of your regular just check ins for work assignments. Now, depending on how busy your supervisor is, this can be once a month or once every 3 months. These are meetings where you're intentionally meeting with them to talk about your wins in the workplace, how you have overcome those. You're going to talk about your challenges and how you're seeking their advice and their feedback and their support for those areas. And then lastly, you're going to be talking about what areas do they think that you can improve upon. And that's probably very hard to ask for feedback, but you need to be able to handle constructive criticism from your supervisor that sees you in a different perspective. And they are the ones that can provide you opportunities for your next job, your next position, right? So you want to build those relationships. So having those personal check-ins will allow you to build and those open lines of communication with your supervisor. Now, my second tip, and you can start doing that in these meetings, is you want to communicate your future goals. At the end of this meeting, when you ask them about areas that you can improve upon, take those and say, great, because I really love working here and I want to see myself grow and I know that I can do more. So I am always seeking your guidance on areas that I can improve upon because I really see myself working here long term and growing with the company. You need to plant the seed. And why that's important that you plant the seed is because your supervisor has a lot of knowledge of what is going on within the organization. A lot of times, management share the changes that are going on in the organization, new jobs, layoffs, and they are the first to know. So if you are in their mind about you are someone that has goals and future growth with the company, they're going to know that you are willing to take the next step, which is the third point. You need to voice your willingness to grow. That is something that you cannot just hide, right? A lot of times, as first generation professionals, we can often think if I work hard, I will be seen. And that is not always the answer. So many times I've worked with clients that take on so much in their jobs and they just keep doing more, but not advancing. And people are coming into these companies that are newer and are getting paid equally as them or even more. And why is that? Because the people in the company see value in the new person that might have been really excited about the role, as opposed to the person that's been there for 3, 4 years who they think is just happy doing what they already do. You need to vocalize and be upfront. And I know that's hard for you to have those kind of conversations, but remember, you need to treat yourself like a business. You need to negotiate. You need to advocate for yourself. The mentality of working hard to be seen is no longer going to get you the career success that you want in your life. The last tip that I have for you, which is really big and it takes a lot of time for you to reflect, is that you need to work around the strengths and the weaknesses of your supervisor. Now, I want to get off by saying, first off, that there is a difference between a leader and a manager. A leader is someone that's innovative, someone that can take charge, someone that is just strategic. A leader is someone that motivates you. A manager is someone that takes care of the day-to-day tasks. A manager is able to manage people, manage functions, manage projects, but they're not necessarily inspiring individuals. Now, why I say this is because I have worked with too many people who blame their lack of career success, lack of career clarity, they blame their confusion and lack of training all on their boss. And the more that you sit back and put it all of your career success on the responsibility of your supervisor, you're letting them take control of your destiny. And I'm not going to let you sit around and do that. You need to be able to learn how to navigate around your supervisor. So, understanding their strengths and their weaknesses is key to your career success. I have worked with a boss that was someone that was not around. They would be around for the key presentations when they had to be the guest speaker, but they weren't around in the day to day project functions of my role. So, with that being said, I knew, even though they were a good public speaker, I knew that they weren't in the details. So I took as my job and my responsibility to be very detail oriented, to be able to flourish and plan projects and be one on one and on the ground with different staff. And I took that responsibility and I added that to my resume, and that grew my career, but I wasn't waiting around for my boss to show up to tell me how to do my job. I wasn't waiting around for them to help me in my daily tasks. I knew that they were more of a visionary leader, but necessarily how to get there, develop the process, the plan, the manual to develop that was not their forte. But if I could have either sat around and waited for that, or I could say, that's not what they're going to provide me, so I'm going to do that for myself, right? So you need to be able to understand what are the strengths and the weaknesses. I've had other bosses that love any ideas that I have, but them themselves are not creative people. So I knew that I can depend on them to support me with my ideas, but my creativity can flourish. So I knew that I wasn't waiting around for them, again, to give me direction. I was instead knowing that if I had an idea, I could pursue it and they would support me. See, too many times we wait around for our bosses, thinking and waiting for how we think they should be managing us, how we think they should be leading us. And the more that we wait for others to lead us, we are not becoming the career confident mujeres that we should be. So sometimes to build a relationship with your supervisor isn't only just vocalizing what areas you want to grow in, but it's also understanding the strengths and the weaknesses of your supervisor so that you can work around them. You want them to be on your side. And if throughout this entire podcast, you're thinking to yourself, girl, that is not my boss. I have tried that. I have done that and it has not worked for me. Most likely you are working in a toxic environment, which is something totally different. And if you feel like all of these strategies will not work with your supervisor, then most likely you are working in an environment where you know there is no growth. And I want to ask you, why are you still there? Remember that if you feel that this is impossible to build a relationship with your supervisor, I want you to find somewhere where you can feel fulfilled, feel valued, because you deserve that, okay? I am going to be hosting now some group coaching, the Hefa movement, to help you navigate finding yourself a career that helps you be more purpose driven and fulfilled. I want you to understand that there is so much out there for you. You have potential, you have greatness. So stop holding back your future career success by letting your fears, your anxiety, your comfort zone hold you back. I hope that these tips helped you understand the importance of building a relationship with your supervisor and stepping out of your comfort zone and realizing that you have the potential to start building your career success. And that is through networking. And the first and the main person that you should be networking and building that connection with is your supervisor. Because at the end of the day, your supervisor can be an advocate for your career growth and they can be able to be mentors for you. I remember I have had many supervisors that I love to work with. They weren't always easy to work with, but by developing these and working these different tools that I've just told you about, I was able to build relationships with my supervisor that we had conversations where, Cindy, I know that you want more, but there's no budget here for it. And they would often send me job postings that they would hear about within the organization or in different areas because they knew who I was and what I wanted to be. And good bosses, when you build that relationship, they want the best for you, right? So find how you can build a relationship with your supervisor. And I want you to comment below what you are going to try this week, this month, to build your relationship with your supervisor. And once again, thank you all so much for connecting. Feel free also to comment below. Let me know what other topics you want me to cover, because this is a podcast designed for you. As a first-gen professional, I want you to level up in your career with confidence and knowing that you deserve it, mujer. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Career Confident Mujer. I hope you found inspiration and valuable insights to fuel your own career journey. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Remember, you are not alone on this path. Take care and remember that you deserve it, mujer.